Yo, what's good, Minecrafters? What's good, YouTube? Back here with another video. Today, I got a couple games lined up for you guys, but this time, I want to make this sort of like a showcase video of the routes that I take for each map. Because I tend to notice, like, in my games, people are really, like, understacked by the end. I mean, yeah, they're short games, but it's more than likely than they just don't have a route. So for any new players that wanna join Minemen, I'll put the IP on the screen. Any new players that want to join Minemen that might struggle with looting up in survival games, this video is for you. So I got a couple games lined up on two different maps, one being Zone 85, and there's no map download for the original Zone 85, only the revamped version. But the chest routes and the tiers and like the map is the same. So I'm gonna play the clips of the games, and then after each game, we're gonna hop into the actual map on a single player world, and I'm gonna take you guys through the different routes just from back in the day that I remember playing, the different routes that I would take with the optimal tier 2s and tier 1s that will best suit you up for those early game encounters and that will help you get the win. So let's hop into those games, and I'll see you guys after the first one. So the first map we have up on today's list is, obviously you guys saw from the game, Valley Side University. I don't have the shaders on because they make my game lag. But on Valley Side University, there's obviously a couple different routes that I take depending on where you spawn on the map, depending on which way you're facing. So there's obviously different routes that are more optimal for you to A, survive, and B, get enough things to be able to kill people like after you survive the early game, heading into the mid game, and then hopefully have enough things to help you live into deathmatch. So let's say you spawn for this instance, we're obviously gonna fly around to the other places that I know, but I'm just gonna show off all the things that I used to know, like back in 2014 2015, like MCSG days. Like, just I'm putting you guys on the game. I'm putting you guys on the game. I don't want to hear any complaining about things that I missed. So let's say you're spawning here. Typically, I tend to go for either the football field or the lever underground base one. We're gonna check that one out. So we start here. Obviously, you're gonna want to loot up. You could also ditch it. Head over here. You could grab this tier 1 right there. I typically skip it, but this way You could also hit that one. These are all tier 1s. These are pretty useful if you can survive up until this point, you know, just not getting chased down. Tier 1 right there too. But if we head into the football field here, you have two choices really. You could head towards this building, or you could head over here. This is a little bit more risky. We're gonna get to that. But let's say you grab these tier 1s. There's a tier 1 here in the middle. There's a tier 1 over there by that goal post right there. You head up into here, into this room. Greet this little zombie. He's not gonna be there. These are tier 2s right here. Let me get an ender chest. These are tier 2s. In your real game. Yeah, yes, zombie. Yes, we're gonna actually get rid of you.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. And who can say if your love grows as your heart shows, only time.
These are gonna be tier 2s. Here's where you're gonna get your, you know, your iron armor, your stone sword, maybe, you know, a bow, stuff like that. After hitting that, you can hit this tier 1 down here. There's another tier 1 in here. Just tier 1 scattered about. But after you're done hitting here, if this isn't looted yet, you're gonna want to find this tree. From where we started, we came from over there. There's this parking garage, and you're gonna want to find this tree right here with this little tent looking setup. If you go down into the water, 2 tier 2s right here. 2 tier 2s, free if nobody contests you. You come out from here, and the reason why this might be a popular spot, obviously because of the tier 2s. Tier 1 right here, crafting table. This is one of the only spots on the map with a crafting table accessible. I think there's another one. There's another one in like a phone booth or like a ticket booth. This is one of the ones that I mainly come to if I don't want to go to spawn. So yeah, that is the south route. That is I was gonna call this a tennis court. The football field. This is the football field route that I typically take if I spawn like on that side of the map. If you spawn over here, the other route that I take is through here. Follow this, and you're gonna get to this house right here. You might have already seen the crafting table, but if you flick this lever, oh, I guess it was already activated when I got here. If you flick this lever, boom, did you guys see that? If you pay close attention, right there, this opens. So once you loot this tier 1, there's another tier 1 in here. You come down here to the secret ladder. Boom. These are tier 2s. These are tier 1s. So you'll have 2 tier 1s, I mean 2 tier 2s, and 2 tier 1s right here to get all of your essentials. Fishing rod, I mean iron. And once you come back up the ladder, the reason why I don't tend to come to this one as often is the risk factor. If you're down here and somebody flicks that lever, you better hope they don't come down and kill you, or that you have enough gear to survive till deathmatch, because you're going to be waiting there a while. Crafting table right there. That's the second crafting table that I mainly come to if I don't want to go to spawn. Another secret is not only this tier 1, but if you do some parkour, this is patched on most servers, but if you flick this lever, opens this up. On most servers, this isn't accessible. For some reason, this lever doesn't work, and they like it doesn't. It doesn't work. But if you do this little tricky jump over this lava, this is a double tier 2. Let's get the ender chest back. This is a double tier 2. So this route by mid game, you've already survived like the first wave of people dying, the first blood, and you probably have some gear to fight. There's this, that is north, I believe, yeah. So there's also this east building that's got a couple stuff in here. I don't typically come here because I don't know the combination, but if you break these leaves that would right here, there's a secret like chamber, and there's a combination. I don't know the combination. Maybe if I... Oh, okay. Okay, well that's it. It's just, I think it's just... I don't know what I did, but you can rewatch it and then just, yeah. This is a tier 2 right there. That's all I know for this building. I mean, there's tier 1s, and I'm sure there's a tier 2 inside the build. There's just stuff scattered in there, but it's not typically a spot that I go. So north from spawn again. If you don't want to go over there, if you see people contesting this, this is a classic spot. You head up over here to this first stairwell, the only stairwell right here. Climb the stairs, climb this ladder, head to this iron door. Lava flutter. This is a double tier 2. So loot that up if you are contested over there. There's obviously more. Explore the map for yourself. Obviously, I encourage that. There's the library. I'm pretty sure there might be another crafting table in there. Don't quote me 100%. Those are just the routes that I take typically on my playthroughs of Valleyside University. So as you saw there in that game, I'm pretty sure I went the football route. Yeah, I took the football route. I was pretty uncontested. I could have gone and looted this, but I think with the amount of people in the game, it went to deathmatch too quickly and I couldn't loot up. But once you get these two from here, I'm pretty sure I got like pretty much everything I needed to fight people in deathmatch. I also did just get lucky in the beginning because there weren't as many people. Also a tier 1 down here. So yeah, those are my routes for Valleyside University. Let's hop into the next game on Zone 85, I believe. And here we are on Zone 85. This is the second time I had to record this because I messed up the beginning part, but I'm only gonna record the first couple bits. So let's say you spawn right here, right? If you head eastbound, the first route I'm gonna show you is over towards this way. So after you loot up, if you head east, you're going to see your first tier 1 right here in this corner on your right. After looting that up, you're gonna see this kind of bend right here. Follow to the right, there's gonna be a tier 1 right there, so that's 2, and a tier 1 right here, 3. After looting these up, you should have hopefully a weapon, maybe some armor or something. Tier 1 right here. Tier 2, Tier 1. The thing about this Tier 1 is that it's a trap. If you open up this trap, this piston retracts and then you are dead. So make sure not to stand on this block right there. Yeah, it does that. I don't know why there wasn't a block there, but inside this chest, there's always going to be, if you're playing on minemen at least, there's always going to be a stone sword, a guaranteed stone sword in this chest. So if you don't get a sword by the time you looted that, or maybe this tier 1 right here, or that tier 1, or if you looted this before this, there's going to be a guaranteed stone sword in here. Tier 2 right there. So once you loot this kind of like, I don't know, this pit, this crater, tier 1 right there, you're going to want to head towards the water, towards these ships right here. On the shore, tier 1 right here. Jump across the lily pads, and you'll find yourself with a ship with a tier 1 on it. By this time, you're racking up stuff like gold, you're racking up stuff like arrows, flint, sticks, like just from all those tier 1s that are going to help you make arrows if you get a bow. Tier 1, tier 2. I think in the video I missed this tier 2 because I had down here. Down here, you're going to find yourself 2 tier 2s. So these ships are where you're going to find a lot of the bulk of your loot. Like your iron armor, your diamonds, iron, stuff like that. What also makes this ship really useful is in this room, you're going to find yourself a crafting table. One of the only crafting tables on the map, but I will show you guys later on the other crafting table on this map. I think aside from that other one, there's only 2. I don't know. You could obviously loot these up. They have tier, some of them have tier, I think one of them, yeah, that one doesn't, but this one does have a tier 1. I thought it did. Well, there's one right there. But I typically don't go that way. When I said that this was kind of 3 routes in one is because of this island and this tower right here, this lighthouse. If you go into here and you go all the way down, there's more tier 2s and like tier 1s that you can loot, but I don't go through here. A, because the round, like the game is gonna be progressing, people are dying, like you it's just, it's too out of your way to make it useful, right? So if you just jump across the lily pads, there's a tier 2 in that boat. Once you make it to this lighthouse, enter from the bottom here, climb this ladder. Once you reach the top, tier 2 and a tier 1, and your second crafting table. So if you don't have enough resources by the time you leave that, let's say you go into there but you don't want to go back, you get this tier 2, you get your second diamond, maybe a diamond from here, you have the option to craft from right here and not have to go all the way back over there. I rarely ever find myself fighting people at this lighthouse. Like, I'll fight people in the water, I'll have my occasional ship fight over there, but I never see people. I would think sometimes there would be somebody camping this crafting table at least, but there's never a person there. I might, if this gets views, this might kind of blow the the low keyness of the crafting table. But I'm putting people on. I'm putting people on game. Okay, like I didn't spend all those hours back in 2014, 2013, getting smoked by pros for no reason. Okay, I'm using this knowledge to help people like me when I was that age. Okay, so yeah, after you hit this lighthouse, you can obviously head over here, and there's one final tier 2 in this ship, I guess, dock tier, that you can loot right here. And that's pretty much my whole southern route. Well, we went east in the beginning, but I guess it turns into southeast, you know, the eastern part of the map. That's it for this part of the map. We're gonna fly over to the secondary part. So if you come back through spawn, let's say you spawn somewhere else, right? And this time you're gonna want to go west. Go up this hill towards this tree. Some people tend to go towards the bridge. I know there's some loot there, but your first tier 1 is gonna be right there. Your second tier 1, boom, right there. You're going to see this 85 hangar. And you're going to see this building with this helicopter. Head towards this building and you're going to see a tier 2, I believe. Actually, no, this is a tier 1 because this map has the updated ender chests. I didn't have to place them like the other map. This is a tier 1 right here, and the entrance is right on through here. Wait, is there a crafting table? No, I don't think there is. You're going to want to head to the left and go up. There's a tier 1 down there, but you trust me, loot this one and then head up to these vines. You could either make this jump or climb it through right here. I suggest breaking these vines. I suggest breaking those vines just because they can be in the way, but make sure you don't. Well, you won't break the block, but there's gonna be vines here. Climb those. Double tier 2 at the top of this building. So head west and head towards this building. This is a more popular spot, so I don't go here as often, but it was one that I would hit back in the day because you just loot up. This is kind of like the more fun way to drop down. You could do it a lot safer than this, but this is like the most fun way. You can risk missing the helicopter, but you could also land like right in between to where you negate all fall damage, but you make it onto the slab like that. But obviously I didn't make it. You could also just hit the slab and die. So do this at your own risk, but some people use the cobweb trick to get into here to this tier 2, and you can descend down this ladder. There's gonna be a tier 1 back here somewhere. I swear there's a tier 1 back here. No way. I'm pretty sure there's a tier 1 here, but I don't know. I guess not. Exit through here, and then you can loot up the hangars. I typically skip the hangars. I come through here, tier 1, and there should be a tier 2 right there. Once you get this like tower heading north, head up to this hill on the east side. So after you hit that tier 2, you would kind of come up those stairs. This area tends to have people throughout the game, so be prepared to fight. Tier 2 right there. Head up to this last spot right here, tier 1, and you're going to be welcomed with a tier 2 and a tier 1. So by this point you should be pretty looted up. If I'm counting correctly, that's a double, so 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 tier 2s for this route, as opposed to the other one that had 1, the double, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 if you're counting this one. Pretty sure there's one down there, but I'm not going to count it. So if you get this entire thing uncontested, that's 7 chests. That's 7 tier 2s uncontested, but obviously you can't rely on it being uncontested. So let me know if you guys want me to make some sort of tutorial, like fishing rod tutorial and stuff. Like I get people asking me on Minemen, like noobs asking me on Minemen, like how do I fishing rod, like how, like can you teach that? I'm not gonna teach you like little Timmy on Minemen. I'm too old to be doing that. I have no business talking to to Zoomers, even though I'm also Gen Z, but not the side of Gen Z that is like I don't need to elaborate on that. Okay, but yeah, that is the 2 maps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the outro. So now that we've taken a look at both maps, both Valleyside University and the 2 routes that I showed you on Zone 85, I'm going to put on screen how many tier 2s we got in both routes on both maps. So on Valleyside University, we had this many ender chests on the first route, and this many ender chests on the second route. I'll just put them on screen right now just because I have to go back and count them. But for Zone 85, I remember the first route had 7 chests in total if you loot all those things that I showed you in the clips, and the second route had a total of 5 chests, but it was a different setup in terms of how contested you might be. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it educational and you implement it into your games. especially with these smaller lobbies. So yeah, if you guys want to help increase the player size of these SG games, I'll put the IP in the description and on screen again for you guys to join. And yeah, so yeah, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, and maybe hit your boy with a subscribe. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.